Previously on A Lady in the Gent.
My name is Taisha Martin Holland, and currently I work as a certified lactation counselor for the Department of Public Health in Georgia. And what I do is help moms learn to breastfeed.
You time for your milk to come in, because I think we have this idea that, oh, I'm just gonna have and all this milk is just gonna. That's not actually how it happens.
Actually, no. What happens?
And now the conclusion of our interview with Taisha Martin Holland.
Okay. Your body actually makes colostrum, and I like to call that newborn milk, liquid gold. A lot of people call it because it is a very.
I'm sorry, I never heard that term before.
You never heard of liquid gold? That's what we call breast milk.
I haven't. I mean, breast milk, yes, but not the colostrum.
Well, it comes before the breast milk.
I mean, I didn't have it in my medical books.
It's all liquid gold. Yeah. Anything that comes from the boob is liquid gold.
Yes, yes. It is precious. If you've ever pumped like 5 ounces of breast milk and then spilt it, you know my pain. I've done that before. So
yeah, there was about to be some people missing when I heard that. So
yeah, but the colostrum comes in first, and about a teaspoon of colostrum is enough to feed a newborn infant. And newborns are not born hungry, so if your baby doesn't want to nurse or eat right away, it's perfectly fine. A lot of people also don't know that. But if you're one of my clients, you do know that. I try to make sure they're very well educated and prepared for what's coming, because a lot of hospitals get kickbacks for formula usage. So they're going to be pushing that formula, but if you know you really do want to breastfeed and try breastfeeding, you have to be firm and say, I'm perfectly well aware that this spoon of colostrum is more than enough to feed my baby, because I know that a newborn baby's stomach is the size of a marble.
And see, a lot of hospitals don't like you said, they don't educate, and a lot of the nurses in the labor and delivery, they don't educate when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, and I also think a lot has changed with time. Because even when I had my child, she's 14 now, 14 years ago, my hospital stay was much longer than my friends in recent years. They're in there 2 days, 3-4 days if they've had a C-section. I was in there, they willed me. I had a lactation class, and you sat there and had somebody talk to you, and they came in my room and we spent time together, and that was just very business, like in and out.
I hate that it's come to that though.
Because it is very business-like, and that's why you need to try to look for resources in your community. I suggest to people always start with your local WIC office, because a lot of people aren't aware that your local WIC office has peer counselors.
Yes, they
there. Or sometimes even CLCs, and sometimes even IBCLCs, who can help you, and it's a free service. We can come out to your home. You don't want to come out to the clinic? Fine, okay, we'll come out to your house in pairs of 2 for safety, because people crazy.
Very good.
Okay.
Gotta be real, and assess the situation and help you with any problems needed. Like I said a little while ago, I had an email from a client, and I will answer it. They know. Call me first before you do something stupid. But we're gonna support you through it. The other thing is Zip Milk. A lot of people don't know about zipmilk.com. You can just go to that website and type in your zip code, and it'll bring up a list of lactation consultants. Some you need to pay for, and some are free. I'm on Zip Milk for my area, and I have helped women who don't participate in the WIC program, because I want to help the community.
That's amazing. So if you don't know what WIC is, WIC stands for Women, Infant, and Children, and it's a program in every state and county.
Yes.
And it just helps women and it helps you throughout pregnancy and up until your child is the age of, it was 5. Is it still 5?
Yes, it's
5 years old.
I, for one, was very grateful for WIC.
And a lot of people can apply for it. It's not just like you said, because people might have different kind of feelings about. No, it's a resource. They have dietitians there. They have the lactation consultants. They provide all kinds of services to women, and it doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, for all women.
So I say put all pride to the side. Your child comes first, and your baby is going to need help. So that's the best way. So put pride to the side and really go, really listen.
And in my particular community, because I live very close to a military base, a lot of people aren't aware that military families usually qualify for WIC. So I actually serve a lot of military moms and dads who come in there for WIC services.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And cousins, to let y'all know that every site that was spoken about during this conversation will be listed in the description, so don't get frazzled if you can't see it right then and there and you can't remember it.
It's in the box.
Oh, I do want to say this because I have heard this over the last 8 years concerning Black Breastfeeding Week. So are Black women more important than other women? No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that there are disparities between white women and Black women. There is also Hispanic Breastfeeding Week. There is also a Native American or Indigenous Peoples Breastfeeding Week.
Nice.
They do break it down. No, there is not a white breastfeeding week. And the reason why is that about 85% of white women are still breastfeeding at 6 months. So maybe it's not needed for them, and that's why it doesn't exist. Yeah. Just in case that question comes up.
Thank you for pointing that out, because a lot of people do say that, and we are Black, so we like to specifically address the issues that affect not only our lives in the communities we live in. So it's important to bring it up and support which week you might fall into, or support all the breastfeeding weeks. You don't even have to be a part. You don't even have to be Black to be a part of the Black Breastfeeding Week. Just support
Absolutely not. Some of the most wonderful women that I work with, who I have learned from, are white women who are IBCLCs and CLCs, because locally in my area we get together the first Thursday of the month, and we come from all different backgrounds and come as a collective and support each other and learn from each other. So it's not about that. But what I do see more and more, which I'm loving, is that there are more people who are of different ethnic backgrounds supporting Black breastfeeding.
That's amazing.
That is beautiful. So
can we just talk about one thing? What about the nipple discoloration?
Okay.
Because I wasn't prepared for that. And I'm not sure if other people know, especially as you said, where we have more melanin in our skin tone, and you might one day look down and it not look the same color that it once was.
Yeah, and that's actually very normal for us. What you want to look for, though, if you really think it's a problem, is if you are bleeding. Your nipples are cracking, they really hurt when the baby is latching. Those are the kind of things I want you to look out for. If it's discolored, then well, sweetie, it's gonna be like that for a while. And but if there are other issues, then that's when you call me, we get involved, and we just try to figure out what's the best solution for you.
So as you mentioned, what's good for the cracking nipples, the dry nipples, leaking? I've seen people putting cabbage in the breast, talking about it's gonna stop the. What is this? I'm confused. I've never tried that. I've never tried that.
The areas I serve are rural communities, and yes, You can put cabbage leaves in your bra if you want to dry out and stop breastfeeding. I don't recommend this because there is a possibility of listeria contamination when doing this. But if you are going to do this, I suggest thoroughly washing the cabbage leaves if you're really insistent on doing that. Thoroughly washing, maybe even parboiling them, then putting them back in the freezer, letting them get cold, and then applying them to cut down on the risk. But to me, it's not worth the risk. Getting listeria.
I never heard that.
As far as dry, cracked nipples and things like that, your own breast milk. Squeeze a little bit of breast milk out, and you're topless most of the time anyway if you're breastfeeding, especially the first few weeks, and just let it air dry. They do sell creams and things of that over the counter if you want to do that. Or you can try coconut oil or olive oil to soothe those cramps.
Nice. Yeah. So how would you, once you reach the point now you're done breastfeeding, how would you quote unquote dry it out or stop them if you don't want to do cabbage?
Okay. Usually if you're going to naturally wean, most babies start wanting to do that. I mean, it's different for every child, but most babies start wanting to do that or showing signs of it once you start introducing foods, which is usually somewhere between, WIC recommends 6 months, but some doctors will recommend a little earlier, so it depends on your child. So once your child starts showing signs of readiness, that they're ready to take it, what you want to do is start removing a feed. I suggest daytime feedings because there is a component in breast milk that makes babies sleepy. So you want to make sure you're feeding that nighttime feed so they can go off to sleep easily. So I usually say try like midday, that nursing session that you might have after lunch. Don't do that. Okay. You know, and then don't refuse it, but don't offer when you're trying.
You know, I must say, as a mom, I'm
Thank you. I mean, a lot of people are not interested in what I do, and there are also people who make fun of what I do. Well,
like I said, I breastfed, but it was easy for me. I wasn't one of those people that struggled. My child latched on very easy, and outside of the discolorations or like I overproduced. So in that first week, I looked like I had a fresh boob job. Like I had like triple D's. I was just huge. I looked like, I was like, what is this? But just the patience of continuing it, because I was, doing things, working in school. But like, so a lot of struggles per se, I didn't experience, but from other people, like I knew had like someone in my family, her child had a short tongue. So it was hard for them to latch, or they would need eventually something with the
tongue tie.
Yes.
Had a tongue tie.
And she had to put the little nipple guard on so it would help them latch on. I would have never known about that.
And there's tricks to nipple guards. I really don't like nipple guards only in certain situations, but there's a trick to making them work more effectively that I show women who need them.
Yeah, so it's a lot that goes into it, and I think sometimes, especially now, hi.
What time is it? You mean shy? Okay. Could you get off of me, please?
We'll just wait for you we'll cut you out. We'll let you make a cameo and then we'll cut you out.
Just say hi to Uncle Phil and go, please. This is the one he was present for the birth. He was present for his birth.
Yep, that's my little guy.
Well, thanks for saying hey.
And you don't have any teeth either, so
yeah. Bye. I think sometimes as women, you just have to go with the best option for you. Overall, this is the what's best and what's gonna work for you. It's not a pressure into you have to do this or you don't. But sometimes when you start with the natural things, like your breasts are there naturally if you to support your child. And if it's too hard to latch, you can pump. There's so much more advancements in the breast pumps. Oh my goodness, I would want to breastfeed again just to try the new stuff.
I know. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I feel gypped.
I get to sample products, and of course, I can't actually use them. Well, I mean, I could. If you've ever breastfed before, I have a friend who's actually doing this now because she's just a hippie. She's awesome. She has decided to relactate, not because she has a baby, but because she realizes that a lot of preemies do not get human milk. So she was relactating for the sole purpose of donating.
Oh,
breast milk.
That's amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought about doing that too, but I'm like,
So if you relactate, how does that work? Would you still produce colostrum or not because you're not actually pregnant? Or is it just like a continuation of because you already started, so it's like it's recontinuing?
Exactly. So basically it starts with nipple stimulation. And the best way to do that is get a breast pump, either a hand pump or an electric breast pump on low, and you want to pump a little bit every day, a few times a day, to kind of trick your body into, hey, you know what? Because your body's done it before, and it's just like memory. And then it takes a few weeks, and then you will start slowly producing milk.
Interesting.
Yes.
The human body is amazing.
Really cool.
So since we are talking about this, there are services out there, right, where you can donate your milk to. So let's say I'm done breastfeeding, I have all this milk, and I'm done. I don't even want to give it to my kid no more. There are places in which you can donate.
Absolutely. First, check with your local hospitals, because most hospitals, especially a major hospital or a children's hospital in the area, they have a neonatal intensive care unit, and which I'm very familiar with because my daughter stayed in one for about 5 months, the first 5 months of her life. Go and talk to someone, let them know that you have this milk and you would like to donate, and they love that, and they test it, and they put it through a pasteurization process similar to cow's milk, and then they distribute it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Or if you feel like you're not producing enough. So also, in what ways can you, because I've seen now, like I said, it's been a long time since I breastfed, and I see a new thing now where people are saying, like, this is how I increase my milk supply, and is that one actual thing that you can increase your milk supply besides just the stimulation?
Well, here's the thing. The best way, there's an arm behind me. The best way to increase your milk supply, honestly, is to latch your baby to your breast. That's the best way. A lot of clients will say, oh, I think my milk supply is low, and the first thing I say, okay, well, why? Why do you think that? Because I want to know the why you think that. We are trained to understand how a bottle-fed, a formula-fed baby responds. We're used to seeing what goes into that baby, which is usually overfed. So when our baby is like, well, for example, well, she fed for 30 minutes and then she was asleep because she fell asleep at the breast for a little bit, so I laid her down, and then 15 minutes later she was up and hungry again. Well, I like to tell them, well, sometimes you go to the buffet and you want the full meal, and sometimes you just want a snack.
That makes sense.
It could be that. It could be that they're not necessarily feeding, but they're looking for comfort. In the modern society, what we want to do is take those babies who have just been born and been inside your body all these months, warm and safe, listen to your heart, and all of those things in comfort. And then, okay, you're here now. Let me wrap you up and put you in a room away from everybody.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why the baby crying. The baby wants shit.
Bingo.
That baby wants to feel safe and secure. A lot of times I'll go to a client's home and they're talking to me about, oh, I'm not getting enough milk. They want to be on me all the time. And I'm like, that's normal. That's the first month of life.
Right.
That's normal. Yeah. You know, think about it. You know, birth is not only a trauma for the mom, but it's a trauma for the baby.
It definitely
They don't know
is.
what's happening. Everything is new. And your comfort. They can smell you. They know your scent. They know that sound of your heartbeat, and it feels safe to them. So they want to feel safe. In cases of true low milk supply, you want to look for a baby who is not peeing frequently. A baby who is not pooping frequently. If nothing's going in, nothing's coming out.
That's a good point.
Those are signs of real, true low milk supply. So if you want to talk about that, those are the things that I ask first. I want to try to get a full picture of what's going on. Now, as far as things to take to increase milk supply, there's no science behind it.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say. There's absolutely no science to support that. What I always tell women is try to eat a variety of foods. Try to eat as healthy as possible. But if you want those chili cheese fries, honey, have them. That's fine. Primarily, you want to stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. So what happens is, like, there's this thing going on, I forget what it's called, but there's some type of breast milk shake that people are drinking lately. Some of my clients have told me about it, and it increases your supply. What did you just do? You just hydrated yourself, and then now you're having the supply. So why don't you just drink the water like I told you to?
Could have saved $29.95.
Make the smoothie. If it makes you feel good to eat the cookie that has oats and fennel and all these good things that are good for your body, go ahead.
It's a good one.
Right. So is there any final words that you want to leave to the cousins out there that are watching? And I hope you guys have been taking notes. And by guys, I mean men.
I've been taking notes and I'm breastfeeding.
Yes. Basically, I just want you guys to just be open to breastfeeding. The main thing I do want to stress is that we need to get the sexuality out of breastfeeding.
Yes.
Breasts are not sexual organs. They're just not. So sometimes I think it's confusing to see a baby on there eating, and they don't understand that there's nothing sexual about that. So we really need to re-educate, and we need to start early. Like, my boys are 9 and 7, and they know a little bit too much
about breastfeeding.
But they understand that it's not, there's no sexual, they know, well, breasts are to feed a baby, and that's all they know now.
Right.
So if we start early, and then we won't have all these instances of people yelling at moms who are breastfeeding in public uncovered, or getting kicked out of restaurants and things like that. So just be mindful, be open, educate yourself, look for resources about breastfeeding, and maybe we can actually get to a point where it's normalized.
Awesome.
Well, we thank you for joining us today. We thank you for your expertise. If you guys have any questions, the comments are open. Or if you want to reach out, we will leave your appropriate contact information if people want to reach out to you to get more information. Absolutely. Or schedule something.
Yes.
So you can help them on their journey.
Schedule a consultation over the phone. I'm totally up for that.
Well, thank you. This, like we said, this conversation has been insightful to both of us, and as a mom who has breastfed, I've even learned more. So if I ever do it again, I'm gonna call you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
And usually what I do, I refer them like, I know somebody that can help you with this.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we hope you have enjoyed our conversation and are enlightened like we are, because as a breastfeeding mom, there are certain things I didn't know, certain tactics, and going forward now, I know who to call.
That's right. And even as a dad, I learned so much more of how to be a better support.
Yes.
I'm not having any kids no time soon, but I know how to be a better support.
And I think even just for friends, people who are around
Right.
moms who are breastfeeding, you know, it's a community, and like we stated, no matter what's going on, no matter what your choice is, it's personal. So if you want to breastfeed or not, the choice is always yours.
Yes.
It's always, this isn't to push anything, but this is just for the women who want this information, who are looking for this, because, you know, it's a lot of things out there, but sometimes you don't feel like it pertains to you, as
right.
our consultant, you know, stated. A lot of women want somebody who looks like them outside of, okay, you're a woman, all right. But then there are also specific things that just might affect your community and your area that you live in. So you already know what to do, cousins. If you like this, come on.
Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below.
Yes, and any questions, remember our consultant is available to reach out to her, or just leave them below. She'll respond
Word.
too.
And don't forget that hashtag Hey Cousins if you want to be shouted out in the next video.
Because we see the comments, and sometimes we block and delete the ones that is a little too much.
Exactly.
But we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
We love you.
Bye.